So now every time you hear that, you're gonna see the video.
Yeah.
You're gonna
I
gonna
was just gonna say,
visualize that
you gotta
video.
play the video, man. You gotta play the video.
Okay, hold on. It's
Some people may not have seen it, so it's worthy.
yeah. I wish I had loaded it up on PC, but I don't. Hold on.
Just go to Facebook.
I'm going to. Going to.
This is what Steve, myself, and Gord do on our spare time.
Yeah.
Kind of off in here. You feel that? Like the air just shifted.
I can't see anything.
What?
All I'm seeing is I'm seeing the
Oh,
video.
hold on a sec. Hold on.
You feel that? Like the air just shifted.
Jeez. You gotta see from the beginning. Hold on.
Feel that? Like the air just shifted.
Yep.
You feel that? Like the air just shifted.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
You get the
Yep.
picture. You get
Yep.
the picture. Hey Neil, how are you? It was a miserable day today. It was well, shitty this morning, snowing, just wet snow, but we're supposed to get more snow, I think, tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, apparently.
Nothing much, but it's just
enough to annoy the living shit out of me.
It's a nuisance.
Yeah.
It's a nuisance. It really is. So, anyways, we were supposed to have Keith Linder on tonight, but unfortunately, he is under the weather. He's not feeling very well, so we've rescheduled him to come on January 18th. So January 18th. We got Todd Bates coming on when we come back January 11th, and then Keith on the 18th. So January, we're kind of, I don't know, sitting on the fence as to what we're going to do, but February we're going to do a vampire month.
Yeah.
February. And so we're trying to find a real live bloodsucker. No, somebody who lives the lifestyle.
Aside from me.
Yeah.
I don't count.
No, Alex doesn't count. He just pukes when he goes into
yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, the fun you can have with AI. But I was just reading a report that AI, as of right now, can already, if it is implemented, can already replace 11.6% of the American workforce.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't. So I mean, it's scary. It is scary. It is really scary that this look at this is job threatening, man. So now they're talking about a universal wage, a living wage. And I know it's been talked about here in Canada. European countries. I think there are some. I think there's a couple European countries that are already doing the universal wage. I believe. I don't
know if that's the case.
I don't know.
It's possible. I don't know enough about it to say one way or the other.
Yeah, it's kind of. Hey, Pump, how's it going, man? It's kind of weird, but it goes to show you it's only a matter of time before your job is threatened. before your job is
Hey,
threatened.
if AI wants to do my job and I still get paid for it, I got no problem with that.
Oh, hey, no, hey, hey, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. But I mean, if you don't get paid for it, it's a different story, right?
of course. Yeah.
You're gonna have to go find another job.
Well, I always heard Brass Rail is hiring.
I fucking can't believe that place is still there.
Yeah. For all of you who don't know, Brass Rail is a strip joint.
Yeah. I can't believe it's still there. I remember when I was in film school and going in there and filming a student project.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually, the manager actually allowed me to do it. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah, I could not believe it. And I remember sitting.
Trafficked.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it's called Brass Rail Tavern.
It's called Brass Rail Tavern now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tavern.
Yep. Adult entertainment club in Toronto.
Tavern. Tavern. Wow. Tavern.
Yeah. Kevin's a freaking flyer mile from there.
uh yeah, and that's Kevin, that's a scary thing. I mean, that's on the rise. Trafficking, human trafficking,
Yeah.
is on the rise.
I think it's it's a combination of the two. It's on the rise, but it's also being brought more into the spotlight than it was before, which gives the impression that it's on the rise drastically. This has been going on for
Oh
a
yeah,
long time,
a long time.
right? It's just coming to the forefront. It's just like anything else. I mean, you hear more cases of this when in reality it's just you hear more of as opposed to more cases.
Yeah. Um, I
Yeah, yeah, you do have, Laura, you do have to wear a tie now. It
yeah.
doesn't say it has to be around your neck though.
I don't know. Pole dancer, interesting.
Yeah.
And fishnets. But I watch a lot of local crime Instagram channels. There's a
Mhm.
lot of really good ones, and it's really, really concerning. I look at the LCBOs, and you've got these people, going in and just going in, grabbing, and just walking out. I mean, of course, many places have a non-pursuit policy because they want to make sure their employees are fucking safe, and you don't know what you can encounter by approaching these people. But I was watching one vid where a Canadian hero decided to go in and punch a couple of these guys and tackle them and try to get them to drop the fucking booze. There was two men and one woman walking out with these huge bags full of booze. Fuck that. I would have just grabbed the bottle and whipped it at their head.
Yeah.
But then you're fucking
In trouble.
getting charged, which is bullshit.
Each paranormal pole dancing club, lots of strange noises in the dark. Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Steve Zanus is haunted.
Ouch. Oh, ouch. And it is really concerning though. It really is the state of, I mean, and I don't want to get too much into politics, but I mean, what do you think about the current state of how a lot of this is playing out? It seems to be increasing because they know that quite literally they can get away with hell.
Are you talking about trafficking?
No, not trafficking, crime.
Oh, crime's actually gone down this year.
It's gone down, but the type of crimes. Like, I mean,
So
going in the
the
LCBOs.
major crimes has gone down. Murders,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
example, auto thefts
Yeah.
have decreased since that. But it's always cyclical. I mean, always you have one year where it spikes and then you have another year where it drops. That's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to look at a 30, 40-year chart to see how it's gone from that long ago to now, how high it's gone, and all of that kind of stuff to see. And it's going to increase the bigger the city gets, right? That's just the reality of it. But per capita, it's still a very safe city. But yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like, oh, sorry. I don't know. I have worked in retail for a long time, and I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen a lot of crap, and I see theft up a lot more in a sort of a grocery store sort of environment. It's out of hand. It is so bad now. I've never seen anything like this ever.
That generally happens when times are tough.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a given, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you have inflation, you have unemployment. Things are, let's face it, prices are high. I get it, but you know what you have to realize? Inflation has never gone down. It's always gone up.
That's what it's called, inflation. Yeah.
It's always gone up. But the thing is,
salaries haven't kept up.
Yeah, the salaries haven't kept up, and that has to happen.
Now, mind you, there's your normal inflation, which happens regularly, and then there's price gouging.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of the places have been accused of.
Of course.
Right? If the price gouging goes away, prices come down a little bit.
Yeah.
But then they will start to go back up because inflation is inflation. It's going to happen.
But when you look at you have other factors. I mean, theft is a huge factor.
Sure.
It's a huge factor. Supply and demand, a huge factor. Right?
There's definitely a lot of factors. Yeah.
And
sure.
and you saw during the vid, this fucking hoarding of fucking items.
Yeah.
And people are bitching about the price. Well, there's a reason why the price is the way it is, because of all you people who fucking gouged, who fucking hoarded this fucking pointless fucking item. It made no sense, Lysol wipes. Ah, man, it was fucking ridiculous.
I know.
Absolutely.
And here's the problem. Once the price goes up because of stuff like that, it's never going to come back down.
Well, no, it can't.
Well, it could, but it won't.
It could, but it's not because they know it will sell.
Right.
And you look at something like I'm looking at. Let me think of a common item that the price is fucking ridiculous. Like a jar of pickles.
Mm-hmm.
A jar of pickles. The average price now is $7.99.
Yep.
For a jar of pickles. Right? You used to get those. You could get them on sale for like $2.99.
I know.
Now, sale price is $5.99.
Listen, the one thing I know, not 100% certainty, but the one thing I know is where they can increase the price, they will, even if they don't have to.
Yeah,
because it means more profit.
Well, yeah.
Right. When you have a company like one of them, and I'm not going to name names, but Steve, I'm pretty sure you know which one I'm talking about. When you have a company who just reported a increase in third quarter profits, when the argument was made in the past that logistics was one of the reasons why the prices went up, how do you justify that?
Yeah.
How do you justify saying, yeah, we have to increase prices because logistics are screwing us, but yet you've turned in third quarter increased profits?
Yeah.
That's why they're being accused of price gouging.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at gas.
Yeah.
The price of fuel, petrol or whatever you want to call it. I mean, during vid, it dropped down as low as 52 cents. 52 cents. What does that tell you about the price of gas?
I remember when it was like that on the regular.
Yeah, but I mean, during the vid, it went down to 52 cents.
Nobody was driving.
But what's
Nobody
that?
was driving.
But what's that tell you they can do?
Yeah, that's a bit harder because that's regulated by a lot of other factors external to.
It's not regulated by the government, though.
No. I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm not saying that. I mean, the government has its taxes that it takes from it, like anything else. But
yeah,
and then once and at the time, the carbon tax was still there, right? But the price of gas at the pump is not determined. It's not like you could say, okay, I'm paying for a product here. And it's going to cost me X amount to ship it here. So I'm going to charge an X amount to the customer. There's so many other factors when it comes to oil and gas.
Yeah.
On top of the freight, on top of everything else, that just, it's a disaster. Right.
It's beyond disaster. But you look at like a country like Venezuela,
yeah.
And you look at the price of gas and go, what why is it so fucking cheap?
Well, number one, they're a communist country. Number two, they refine their own oil and sell it within themselves. They they got the largest deposit of oil. Right? Yeah. But yeah, let's not get into that.
So
that's just
let's say, so then why isn't it cheaper in Texas?
In Texas, they don't produce as much oil as the Venezuela does.
No, but they do produce quite a bit.
But here's the thing. The U.S. exports for profit. You have to understand.
Oh, I know they do.
And it's not the government. Don't get me. And I'm not saying it's the government, because these are independent oil companies.
Yeah.
Right. Part of the reason why, even here in Canada, we refine to some extent as well. We refine enough that we could theoretically sustain ourselves.
Where do we refine? Where do we refine?
Apparently, we refine it.
Where?
There are refineries in Western Canada.
There's no way. No.
Yeah, there is.
There's none. We can't we can't refine our oil.
And
we can't. We don't.
Okay. Anyway, regardless.
It's if you look into it, and I did look into it.
Okay.
We don't.
Let's take Canada out of the equation. With regards to Texas or anywhere in the States, the companies, because they're independently owned, want to make a profit.
Yeah.
They're not going to make a profit if you refine it and sell it cheap within the United States. It's just that simple. It's like anything else.
Yeah.
Companies want to make as much profit as they humanly can.
Absolutely.
So they sell it at market value.
Yeah.
Across the world.
Yeah.
Right. And that's it. That's part of the reason why.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know it's a given. It's a monopoly. It's a big scam.
Yes, Canada has 17 refineries with the largest capacity in Alberta, followed by Ontario, New Brunswick, and Quebec. So there.
But where are they? What are they refining though? I mean, they can't refine our oil.
Why can't they not?
Because of the type of oil it is.
It's bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
It is.
If it was bullshit, then how come we haven't fucking ramped up the amount of production of our own oil?
Because of supply and demand.
There is no. It's not it.
It's a complex animal. It's a very complex animal when it comes to crude oil and what have you. It's not that simple.
It's not crude oil though.
It's oil.
I know, but it's not crude oil.
Regardless, it's still oil.
Yeah, no, I know.
Venezuela oil is similar to ours.
Huh?
Venezuela oil apparently is similar to ours.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's not. Look. I'll show you exactly.
Ontario refineries process a mix of domestic and imported crude oil.
Yeah.
Quebec and the Atlantic provinces primarily use imported crude oil. So we do refine our own. We have the capabilities to refine our own. But the problem is, again, because they're independent companies, they will sell for a profit. You will never get cheap gas here because of that. If you own a company, your goal is to make as much money as possible, period. Not for yourself only, but for your shareholders, for everyone involved, investors. So you're going to sell at the highest price, period. And you're not going to do that internally.
It's I can't remember the name of it. There's a reason why. Because of the type of oil, there's only certain places that can refine it, and that's they're saying China and parts of the U.S.
And the U.S.
Right?
A lot of refineries in the U.S. is geared towards refining the crude oil that we have here.
Let's see. Hold on. See, I can't even find that. Hold on. Oh, second does not flow easy, making it harder to transport process. So the type that they use, I can't. It starts with a B. The stuff that they put in with the oil to make to transport it, to make it easy to transport. I can't even think of
Yeah,
the
they have
name.
to they have to put some kind of additive, I guess.
Well, they do, and the thing is, the problem is when you put that additive in there, they're being charged with that with the weight of that additive as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you only get a certain amount of fucking. Apparently, it doesn't make it worth. It's really not worth. Canadian oil apparently is not worth exporting or whatever. I don't know. There's
No. So I've been following this guy on TikTok. He's an industry oil. He's in the oil industry. He's an expert in the oil industry.
Yeah,
and he explains things very succinct.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why we sell our oil so cheap to the United States is because we have less means of getting it anywhere else around the world.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Okay. If we had access to export our crude overseas as much as the United States does or other countries do, our oil would be selling at market value. Because regardless of how heavy it is, because it's a heavy crude, just like Venezuela, I'm looking it up right now. It is different, but they are both heavy crudes. The only difference is in the viscosity, but they're both heavy. This is what I'm saying. They're both the same in that regard. You can set up refineries to refine that. Anyone can do it, right?
So why?
But if we were to be able to sell it across overseas, our oil wouldn't be as cheap as it is now. The only reason why it's so cheap is because we don't have access to export overseas as much as we should. Well, and we export most of it to the US.
And that's the issue. The issue is where it is, where it's located.
No, it's got it's
located
because we have less access to our ports.
Yeah.
Trans Mountain Pipeline is just one access point.
Yeah.
If we had more access points, like across the country to the Atlantic or north, we'd be able to ship more overseas, which would raise the value of our oil.
Well, I think that. Well, I know, and I think one of the hugest things, the hugest areas of I think it's going to be huge, very big in the near future, is going to be Churchill.
Yes,
I think Churchill is going to be a pivotal because of climate change.
And Northwest Territories as well.
Yeah, but especially that passage, the Arctic Passage now is becoming more accessible.
Yes,
and countries know that.
Yes,
including the U.S., who are trying to exploit that, but it's Canadian
taking over Greenland.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's all this rhetoric about this, and that's why I know Churchill is going to be a very pivotal location very soon. They already have a port there now, but
Yeah, they're going to expand it.
they're
That the
gonna expand it.
part of the plan is to expand that port.
Yeah, they have to. They
Yeah, well, yeah,
absolutely
and
have to. Yeah.
that's what the government wants to do. They want to emphasize that port more so
Yeah.
because it is a pivotal, like you said, it's a pivotal point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And again, like I said, once we have the means to, and this is just referring to crude, obviously, it's not
Mhm.
anything else, but if we ever get to a point where we can actually export more, our oil prices would go higher. They would go
Yeah.
higher because it
Yeah.
would go to market value. Right now, it can't because we cannot export as much as we'd like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm. And and I do believe, that becomes more accessible, right? Places like the Panama Canal will probably see less and less travel because of the more and more access to the north.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
so
once
it'll,
you don't need. It's still a greater distance, mind you, but because you're talking about going across the top of Canada as opposed to just a
but
small
not for
canal.
Europe, not for Europe and Asia though.
No,
It'd
no, no.
be,
I know.
yeah.
I'm just talking about in general. Like if you have a
Mm.
ship that's on the Atlantic to
Mhm.
get to the Pacific would be quicker to go through the Panama Canal than go all the way around
Yeah.
Canada
Yeah.
and all of that. And
Well,
it should
yeah.
just have
Anyway,
flying ships.
well, give it time.
Yeah,
Give it
like we were
time.
told we're supposed to have flying cars by now.
How do you know we don't? We haven't been exposed to them.
We don't have it. Well, I was told everybody would have a flying car by this time. We do not, and that's the problem.
You've been watching the Jetsons too much.
Nah, it wasn't the Jetsons. What was that show that they used to do back in?
Hey James, how are you?
It was a good show. I can't remember what it's called though. I always talked about like the future and all this technology stuff.
How do they make this?
No, not that one.
I know.
No, this is an old show.
Well, all in all, I think it's a good, and I hate to, drone on it, but I mean I think it's a wise decision, and I'm surprised it's taken this long to tap into what we have here. I mean, we have so much to offer,
Yeah, we do.
you
And
know.
well, part of the biggest problem up until now has been the collaboration with the United States.
Well, obviously, yeah. I
Right?
mean,
That and now because of what's going on politically now between the U.S. and Canada on the political front, it's what's the term? It's kicked us in the ass enough to finally say, okay, fuck it.
so
You guys want to be like this, then we'll go on our own.
so what I've watched. Hold on a sec. Let me just see if I can pull it up here, and we'll move along soon. Let's
Yeah, we'll
just
talk
see.
about other nonsense soon.
Yeah, but this is key with what this guy says here. I'll just let me just cue it up. Okay, so what this guy says is just like key in my mind. He's a he's a geopolitical analyst, and this guy is incredible, right? Professor John talks. So hold on, let me just bring this up. And what he says, it's actually pretty scary. If you are living in the States, all right.
Three nations, three of America's largest trading partners, China, Canada, Mexico, united in a single week. Washington managed to achieve what no foreign adversary could accomplish in decades. It united its competitors into a coordinated economic alliance against American interests. How did this happen? Because what we are witnessing is not merely a trade dispute. It is not a negotiating tactic. It is the beginning of the end of economic hegemony. I've spent my entire career studying how great powers rise and fall. I've analyzed the structural forces that determine international outcomes. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, this moment will be studied in history books as the weak America accelerated its own decline. 25% tariffs on Canada, 25% on Mexico, additional levies on China, announced without consultation, implemented without preparation, defended without strategy. The response was immediate and it was coordinated. Canada announced retaliatory tariffs
And
within
again,
hours. Mexico followed within a day. And China, the nation Washington claims to be containing, found itself suddenly aligned with America's closest neighbors against American policy. This was not an accident. This was inevitable. When great powers behave recklessly, the international system responds, and it is responding now. The trade war has officially exploded, and America is surrounded. To understand the magnitude of what just happened, you must understand what we have lost. For 31 years, since NAFTA was signed in 1994, North America operated as an integrated economic zone. Supply chains crossed borders seamlessly. Factories in Michigan depended on parts from Ontario. Assembly plants in Texas relied on components from Monterrey. This integration made American manufacturing globally competitive. It was not perfect.
This sounds like AI.
Well,
Simultaneously,
He sounds like
America
AI.
maintained a
No, it's
careful
not
balance
AI.
with China.
He's real.
We were competitors, yes, but we were also economically interdependent American companies manufactured in China. Chinese capital flowed into American bonds. The relationship was tense. Western policymakers believed this order was permanent. They believed America could dictate terms indefinitely. They believed our trading partners had no alternatives.
It
This
does
was the
sound
first
like
illusion.
AI, though, doesn't it?
It does
The
sound
second
like it, yeah.
illusion was that tariffs are cost-free weapons. They are not. Taxes paid by American importers passed to American consumers, absorbed by American manufacturers. The third illusion was that our trading partners would not coordinate, that Canada would accept punishment quietly, that Mexico would capitulate.
But so basically, he's going on. Hold on a second.
Kind of looks like Max Headroom there for a bit.
I know, right? Let me just see. Let's see.
My well has run dry.
Your well is dried. Yeah, no, he's a real dude.
Oh, I'm sure he is, but that clip's looked AI for some reason.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. Morsheimer. John Morsheimer. But anyways, what are you saying? It basically makes total sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
What a load of Soros bull. Yeah. The free energy. Okay.
I'm gonna refill. Give me a sec.
Yeah. No, I know, it doesn't. Exactly, James. His hair, or what's left of his hair. But anyways, okay, no, hold on. I was just going to read. There was somebody wrote. Neil brings up NASA and the Atlas. Have you seen that, Alex? Have you seen the NASA and the Atlas stuff that NASA's been posting?
No, I
Here,
haven't.
it's actually really fucking cool. Hold on a sec. Let me just see. I played some of it. 3i. Now, it's interesting. Well, let's see. To get the proper. Oh, look at that. Get it verified. Here we go. Oh, okay, so here we go. Here we go. Just to give you an idea what this is all about. Okay, so this is
a NASA-funded telescope, the Atlas Survey Telescope in Chile, first reported observations of the comet on July 1st, 2025 to the Minor Planet Center. This object is a comet. It looks and behaves like a comet and all evidence points to it being a comet. But this one came from outside the solar system, which makes it fascinating, exciting, and scientifically very important. This is only the third interstellar object like this that humanity has ever found.
Interesting.
The shape of the nucleus is also difficult to pin down because generally we're not resolving it in our observations. It's obscured by the dust, and especially it's obscured by the reflected sunlight off of the dust in the inner part of the coma. But what observers from the ground have been able to do is observe the brightness of the center of the comet over time to see if there's a modulation of that brightness that would be an indication of rotation. And it's very difficult to discern. So what it's looking like so far is that there's not a big, the shape of the nucleus is not very far from being round. Doesn't seem to be a big, or at least we're not seeing signatures of a very elongated object yet.
pretty cool, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, there's plenty of, like I said, conspiracy theories around it.
Like it's the lizard people.
Well, you get stuff like this. Like here, just this is just one of many, but hey, Edmund, how are you? Good to see you.
I need to be honest with you about something that just happened, and it's big. NASA discovered something today that completely changes what we thought we knew about this interstellar comet, 3i Atlas. And I'm not talking about just another data point or a minor update. I'm talking about evidence that this thing might actually be transforming right in front of our eyes. So let me take you through what just came out, why it matters, and why the scientists who've been tracking this object for weeks are now sitting at their desks, staring at their screens, trying to figure out what the hell they're actually looking at. Because up until this morning, we had a story. It was a strange story, sure, but it was coherent. We were watching an interstellar comet, one that came from outside our solar system, doing some unusual things as it passed through. It was bright. It was active. It was losing mass faster than it probably should. But at its core, the assumption was solid. We were looking at one object, one nucleus, one comet, just spinning, venting, doing its thing on the way back out into the void. That assumption just fell apart. What NASA found in the newest data isn't just weird. It's the kind of thing that makes you go back and check your instruments, rerun your calculations, and ask your colleagues if they're seeing the same thing you are. Because if this data is right, and there's no reason to think it isn't, then 3i Atlas is not the same object it was a few days ago. Let me explain how we got here. For the past several weeks, astronomers have been watching 3i Atlas with every telescope they can point at it. Ground-based observatories, space telescopes, amateur setups, the works. And one of the key things they've been tracking is something called the light curve. If you're not familiar with that term, it's basically a graph that shows how bright an object appears over time. For a comet, especially one that's rotating, the light curve tells you a lot. It shows you how the brightness changes as different parts of the surface face the sun and Earth. It shows you the rotation period. It gives you clues about the shape, the activity, the stability of the nucleus. And for 3I Atlas, that light curve has been pretty consistent. It showed one main brightness peak per rotation, meaning as this comet spun, there was one part of it that was brighter than the rest, and every time that part came around to face us, we'd see a spike in brightness. Then it would dim as the darker or less active side rotated into view, then bright again, then dim, over and over, clean, repeating, predictable. That pattern told scientists, okay, we're dealing with a single nucleus here. It's got an irregular shape, sure, but it's one piece, one solid object spinning in space. The heartbeat was steady. Today, that heartbeat changed. When the team combined the latest measurements, pulled from multiple telescopes and observing runs over the past couple of nights, they started processing the new light curve, and immediately, something looked off. Instead of that one dominant peak per rotation, there were now two brightness spikes, two pulses, every single cycle. Now, if you're not deep into comet science, that might not sound like a huge deal, but let me tell you, in this field, that is a massive red flag, because a light curve doesn't just change like that for no reason. If you go from one peak to two, it means something about the physical structure of the object has changed. Either the shape of the nucleus has been altered dramatically, like something collapsed or shifted internally, or you're no longer looking at one object, you're looking at two. And that's not the only thing. At the same time this light curve data was coming in, the imaging teams were finishing up their work on a fresh batch of high-resolution images. Now, these aren't the kind of images you see floating around on social media. Those are usually single snapshots, pretty blurry, not a lot of detail. What these teams do is they take dozens, sometimes hundreds of individual frames, and they stack them. They align them perfectly, pixel by pixel, and they combine them to pull out every bit of signal they can. It's painstaking work, but it lets you see things that would otherwise be invisible. And when they stacked the newest images and compared them to the stacks from just a few days ago, they saw something that made them stop. The core of 3I Atlas, that bright central region buried inside the coma, the cloud of gas and dust surrounding the nucleus. It doesn't look the same anymore. It used to look like a single, relatively symmetric blob of brightness, compact, centered, exactly what you'd expect from a single nucleus surrounded by a relatively even distribution of material. But now, it's elongated. It's stretched. Not by a huge amount. This isn't some dramatic, obvious split where you've got two distinct comets flying side by side. It's subtle, but when you measure the brightness distribution, when you fit the profile of that central region, it doesn't match a single compact source anymore. It matches something that looks more like two overlapping peaks, two sources of brightness, close together, so close that the cameras can't fully resolve them as separate objects, but far enough apart that the combined signal looks stretched, smeared. It looks like two nuclei, or at least it looks like one nucleus that's in the process of becoming two. Now, here's where this gets even stranger. The orbital analysts, the people who calculate the precise path this comet is taking through space, they released an updated orbit solution today, and buried in that update is another change that lines up with everything else we're seeing. They've recalculated the non-gravitational forces acting on the comet. Let me explain that for a second. When a comet gets close to the sun, it heats up, and ice on the surface turns into gas.
This guy wants you to subscribe
that gas
to his
shoots
channel.
off into,
I think so, yeah.
carrying dust with it, creating jets. Those jets don't just make the comet look pretty. They actually push on the comet. It's like a tiny rocket engine.
What
and that push,
the
even though
fuck?
it's small, affects the comet's trajectory.
See,
Over time, it can shift the orbit in ways that gravity alone wouldn't explain. So when you're calculating a comet's orbit, you have to account for these non-gravitational forces. You have to figure out how strong they are and what direction they're pushing. For 3I Atlas, up until today, that push had a pretty clear direction. The jets were venting from one dominant area, and the rocket-like force was pointing in a consistent direction. You could plot it. You could predict it.
in today's updated solution, that direction has changed. Not by some crazy amount. It's not like the thing flipped around completely, but it rotated. Enough that the direction of the thrust no longer lines up cleanly with the main jet structures that we've been seeing in the images. The comet is being pushed in a slightly different direction than it was before. So now, let's put all of this together. The light curve says the brightness pattern changed. One peak became 2. The images say the inner structure changed. One bright core became elongated, possibly 2 overlapping sources. The orbit calculations say the direction of the outgassing thrust changed. The jets are pushing in a new direction, and all of this happened at roughly the same time. That is not normal. That is not what a stable comet does. Comets can be unpredictable, sure. They can have outbursts. They can flare up. But this kind of coordinated change across multiple independent measurements, all pointing to a fundamental shift in the object's structure, that's rare. That's the kind of thing that makes scientists sit up and pay very close attention. So what's actually happening here? What did 3i Atlas just turn into? There are a few possibilities, and none of them are simple. The first scenario is internal restructuring. Imagine this comet's nucleus as a chunk of ancient ice and rock that's been sitting in interstellar space for millions, maybe billions of years. It's cold, it's stable, then it comes screaming into our solar system, swings close to the sun, and suddenly it's being heated for the first time in ages. The ice inside starts to melt. Some of it turns to gas and escapes. Some of it refreezes in different spots. The internal structure shifts. Voids form. Material moves around. If something like that happened, if a big cavity inside the nucleus collapsed, or if a chunk of ice melted and redistributed the mass, that could change the way the comet spins. It could change the wobble. It could change which parts of the surface are active. And all of that would show up in the light curve as a shift from 1 peak to 2. It would also explain the elongated appearance. If the shape physically changed, if it got stretched or deformed, that would show up in the images. And if the active regions moved, the jets would start pushing in a different direction. So that's one explanation. The comet is still one piece, but it's been internally restructured by the heat and stress of its close pass by the sun. But there's another possibility, and it's the one that has everyone on edge: fragmentation. Not the Hollywood version where the comet explodes into 1,000 pieces in a spectacular fireball. Real fragmentation is slower, quieter, more insidious. What happens is the nucleus, already weakened by internal stress and outgassing, starts to pull apart. Maybe there's a crack that's been there for a long time, and the thermal stress finally widens it. Maybe the spin rate increased just enough that centrifugal force started to overcome the weak gravity and structural integrity holding the pieces together. Whatever the cause, the nucleus begins to split. At first, it's not obvious. The two pieces are still close together, maybe only a few hundred meters apart, maybe less. They're still surrounded by the same coma, still venting gas and dust, still traveling on nearly the same path. From a distance, it still looks like one object. But if you look closely, if you measure carefully, you start to see the signs. 2 brightness peaks in the light curve instead of 1, because now you've got 2 separate rotating bodies, each with its own active regions, an elongated core in the images, because you're seeing 2 nuclei close together, not quite resolved, but far enough apart that the combined light looks stretched, a change in the net thrust direction, because now you've got 2 bodies venting, not 1, and their combined jets don't point in exactly the same direction the single set of jets used to. If 3i Atlas has started to fragment, if it's pulling itself apart, then what we're seeing today is the first clear observational evidence of it. And that would be huge, because we've seen comets fragment before, but never an interstellar one. Never one that came from another star system, potentially with a different composition, a different internal structure, a different history. And remember, this comet has been riding the edge from the start. The rate at which it's been losing mass, throwing off gas and dust.
Anyhow, you get the idea. But interesting stuff. I mean, and of course, the conspiracy theories out there. It's like, it's an alien ship.
Oh yeah, well,
It's always an alien
par
ship.
for the course. You always hear that.
Always an alien ship.
Yeah.
It's transforming before our eyes. And before you know it, before you know it, it'll be at Earth's door.
Taking over.
It's the what is it, the 13th planet, or the what's the one that Coast always used to talk about?
Yeah. Fuck. Again with the names, I'm horrible with names.
But it can't be a planet. It's too small to be a planet. But
hang on. See if I can find it. Oh fuck! It's on the tip of my tongue too. Oh, not Pluto. Is that Planet X?
Planet X, that's it.
Yeah.
Planet X. Planet X. Goddamn planet.
There was another name that people have associated with it.
Well, there's always the Black Knight. The Black Knight satellite. That's another one that, people are just like, oh, it's there and it's keeping an eye on you. Is it? The one that they've downgraded.
Yeah, Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto is downgraded. Yeah, it's it's an interstellar body. What do they call it? A moon? No. What is Pluto? No, what's it classified as now?
Not sure. Hang on. Pluto is classified as a dwarf planet.
Yeah, dwarf planet. God damn, it's still a planet. Imagine if the moon was classified as a planet. I mean, if the moon was, just imagine all the other moons out there.
Jupiter's got a shit ton of them.
Yeah, and they're like larger than the Earth.
Yeah, I know.
So why couldn't they be planets? Anyways, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, I want to kind of get into some really fucking weird vids. Just real or not, they're just strange. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Like I said, we were supposed to have Keith Linder on today, but unfortunately he is under the weather. He's going to be back. He's going to be with us. We rescheduled for January 18th. So he will be on the show then. So until that, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio live here on our YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada. I founded it in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. And, there's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials!
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And that you are watching, man, watching. I've been watching a lot of, just camping alone vids. I don't know. Do you ever watch those?
Can't say that I have.
Some of them are fucking eerie as fuck. I was watching this one where this woman, she went with her 2 dogs and they were camping. I can't remember where. And it was just really fucking intense what she was going through inside her tent with the 2 dogs. Even the 2 dogs were terrified, with what was going on. And of course, you don't see what happens, but man, that's just. Let me just see if I can find this. Hold on. It's just pretty intense. Where is it? I may not be able to find it again. Hold on. Okay. Of course, I can't find it.
It's always like that. You're trying to look for something.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Is this it?
So what else is like? You watched other videos that have shit going on?
What's that?
You watch others.
Just that, and I've been watching a lot of just weird, stuff that just out of the norm, like fucking, hey, Tony, good to see you, man. I just, things that are just very unusual. I don't know what it is, but I've always, I always look at a situation like we fear the dark, right?
Mhm.
Most people fear the dark, fear being in the dark without having, you know, warmth or light or anything like that. You automatically assume there is, something horrible in the darkness, right? I mean,
Yep.
terror strikes you in the darkness, and that's a human condition. It always has been. And I mean, we've always equated to like, how powerful it was when we discovered how to make fire, right? I mean, it's a powerful symbol of humanity, and how it empowered us to be able to, you know, discover how to make fire. I mean, not only did it give us light, it gave us warmth, it gave us a sense
Yep.
of security,
Mhm.
right? We were able to cook, right? But I mean, even to this day, people, if they don't have that fire, automatically become terrified of, you know, being in the middle of like wherever, like a forest, woods, whatever, deep in the woods. And once you're in that fucking tent, you really don't know what's going on around you. You haven't got a clue. And I mean, think about the mindset, Alex, when you're like, I can't fucking sleep.
Mhm.
Because every sound that you hear will automatically awaken you back up thinking there's something there. Right? Just the mindset. I think that's what I dive into, the mindset that people go through. And it is terrifying for some people. Very. Some people it's nothing. And most of the time it isn't, right? And most of the time it's an animal or whatever else, a coyote, whatever. Just, depending on where in the world you are, most of the time you're completely safe. But are you? And again, if people think, about demons and, humans being the real demons. Humans are evil. And it's not out of the fucking realm to believe that, what's lurking in those woods at night is another human that has an agenda.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. That's most
And
likely the case.
most likely the case. And that on top of then that fire doesn't seem so safe anymore. That fire, that warmth, it doesn't matter because when there's another human out there, stalking you or following you or watching you every move, that fire doesn't matter. It doesn't deter that human because they're of the same mindset, right? But at the same time, it may attract another person who will like, hey, I need to warm up. It's cold.
Mhm.
And then, do you become inviting and say, you can sit by my fire? I may not know you, but I don't want you getting cold.
Could be
You
a
know?
fucking serial killer.
That's what I mean. This is when you bend the reality of that fire. That fire, you know, it doesn't it loses its serenity. It loses its safety net image, and it almost becomes it almost does a 360 and it becomes the almost like a demise rather than your savior, you know? But that's what I mean. I look at I watch I've been watching vids that, you know, have been sort of you know, you hear there's lots of, podcasts and so on that rely on people telling them their stories. And there's a lot of really good, really terrifying stories out there.
Yeah, I listened to a couple of those podcasts.
That's what I mean. But this isn't so much going to those podcasts. It's going to, actually finding these videos that are supposedly real. Right. And it's hard, but they're there. And I should bookmark them more or less, but let me see if I can find it. One example. Like, I'm not going to play that. I played that before and it's insane. Like, here's a clip. Yeah. What I'm trying. Okay, hold on. Like, just to give you an idea. Oh, sorry to hear, Tony. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear it, bud. Okay. I'll play this as much as possible. I don't want to play too much, but just to give you an
Woods
idea,
alone
right?
at night can be terrifying. But what happens when you encounter someone or something you'd rather never meet? Tonight, we're diving into the 6 most disturbing encounters ever recorded. These clips will make you think twice about ever stepping into the woods alone again. Let's delve straight into this first disturbing encounter. This eerie footage was captured by Zhenya, a YouTuber who describes himself as a true adventurer. He loves the outdoors and frequently goes camping in the toughest conditions, documenting everything on camera for his followers. Zhenya shares his adventures on his YouTube channel, which is called The Survivor. It's March 8th, 2023, a cold evening, and Zhenya is about to embark on another solo camping adventure deep in the forest, an hour and a half north of his home. As he drives along the icy road, the complete absence of other vehicles makes it clear he is far from any signs of civilization. Making this exploration particularly dangerous. You'll soon see why. After a long drive, he pulls over and checks in with his viewers.
Находится прям справа от меня. Справа от меня, и вот он пошел. Что это? Господи, еще даже не стемнело полностью. Я уже слышал сейчас какой-то звук оттуда.
Just as he starts filming, an unexplainable sound pierces the silence of the night. The noise sends chills down his spine, but Zhenya remains determined to proceed. He had promised his viewers he would camp overnight in the forest, and he intended to keep that promise. Nothing was going to stop him, he said. Little did he know, the events about to unfold would let him reconsider his decision.
Ребят, я сейчас еще стою, прямо несет около дороги, рядом с машиной. Сейчас в лесу, буквально секунду назад. Я слышал опять какой-то звук, похожий на вой, наверное. Как в прошлый раз, да?
Already uneasy from the strange sounds coming from the forest, Zhenya decides to spend a little extra time near his car, preparing his gear before venturing into the eerie, mysterious woods. He has no idea about the terrifying night that awaits him. With a candlestick in his hand, Zhenya makes his way into the forest. It's quiet, almost too quiet. The only sounds are his footsteps crunching in the snow until an unsettling noise pierces the silence.
И возвращался назад. Что это нахрен? Как визг какой-то все равно. Ведь я только зашел сюда нахрен, а?
Zhenya freezes, standing still with fear, his eyes wide and darting around the area. But nothing is visible, heightening his discomfort. Not knowing the source of the sound, he tries to stay calm and ventures deeper into the forest, searching for a good spot to set up his camp. However, before he can find a suitable location, he stumbles upon something disturbing.
Это похоже на следы волка, реально. Собака не может здесь бегать в лесу. Собака, что ли, гавкала? Опять.
Fresh wolf prints in the snow, indicating a nearby presence, making him realize he needs to stay alert. But not long after, another sound is heard. He says it was probably just a dog, but if you listen closely, it sounds more like 3 distinct knocks. Zhenya is shocked by the number of unexplainable events already happening in this forest, and he hasn't even set up his tent yet. Normally, his evenings unfold much more calmly, but tonight felt different. He had an uneasy feeling, as if he needed to stay alert for whatever might come. And I can tell you,
It does
his
sound
gut
like a
feeling
cow.
is right.
But I don't think there'd be a
Думаю,
cow
наверное,
there.
мы вдалеке находимся вообще полностью от цивилизации, ребят, чтобы вы понимали. И здесь звуки какие-то, которые могут быть там в 5, в 7 километрах отсюда, они могут сюда доноситься. Плюс еще, вот, слышите опять, плюс еще за счет, наверное, ветра. Я не понимаю, честно, откуда лай. Волки же вроде не гавкают, да?
Absolutely, Tony. Dude.
Unsettled and trying to rationalize the situation, Zhenya sets his camera aside and focuses on pitching his tent. With darkness and colder temperatures creeping in, it's critical that he sets up shelter as quickly as possible.
It's definitely a wolf.
That, yeah. I didn't realize I was going to have to read subtitles.
Yeah. Eerie music. That's weird.
Horrifying music can be heard coming from deeper within the woods. It sends shivers down Zhenya's spine. It's clear he is not alone out here.
Присыпанная снегом. Буду продолжать находиться здесь.
What the fuck?
Находиться здесь.
While speaking to the camera, a loud, likely animal sound interrupts him. Startled, he freezes and looks behind him, toward the direction of the noise. Zhenya stands up and shines his flashlight into the pitch-black forest, trying to catch sight of whatever might be out there.
Fuck, I'd make sure I had a better flashlight than that.
Ooh.
присыпано.
Zhenya wanders through the woods, flashlight in hand, walking toward the eerie sounds to uncover whatever he's dealing with. But after 10 minutes of walking, nothing appears, and he decides to head back to his tent, opting for what little safety it might provide. But as we all know, a tent is just a thin piece of fabric that can separate you from the dangers outside. For Zhenya, though, it felt like a small refuge, warmer and slightly safer, at least for now. After sitting in silence in his tent for almost 15 minutes, Zhenya decided to grab his camera again and check in with his viewers, explaining what was happening.
Пока что нету каких-то звуков, как в прошлый раз. Но я очень сильно себя напряженно здесь чувствую.
That metal banging.
Yeah. Seems to be a common thing in woods, eh?
No kidding.
I don't give a shit. If that's real or not, I'd be out of there.
Yeah, no shit. Why is he still there?
I know.
Strange noises could be heard once again. At first, they seemed to be coming from near his tent, but later, the horrific music echoed from deeper within the forest. Confused and shocked, Zhenya looked around, trying to make sense of what was happening. He decided to check his camera outside to see if it had captured the eerie sounds, hoping to confirm that he wasn't just imagining things, but it was all real. As time passed, Zhenya sat outside, listening intently to see if the noises would return.
No, maybe he doesn't want
A chilling
people
sense of
knowing his
being watched crept
identity.
over
I don't
him,
know.
Yeah,
and he
maybe.
couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right.
That's the dinner bell.
Yeah.
The noises intensified, surrounding him. Feeling far from safe, he retreated back into his tent, hoping the sounds would eventually fade.
Just fuck off. Get out
Thoughts
of there.
raced through his mind as he checked his phone, only to discover he had no service.
Of course.
This realization made the situation even more terrifying. If something would happen to him, help would be far out of reach. And that's when the night took an even more horrifying turn.
No, he's not streaming. This is
Прям отчетливо слышно звук снега, хруста снега.
When you're out in the wild, you either have bear skin.
Got busted by an ad.
uh-huh. He's not streaming. This is actually just he's recording this.
So we know the ending. He made it out alive.
Yeah.
Кто здесь? Ой, бля, сука. Кто там нахер?
Someone's fucking with us.
Yeah.
Так, сейчас. Так, в округе я никого не вижу. На, мой рюкзак. Где мой рюкзак?
In total panic, Zhenya tried to figure out what to do. It was clear that
get the
someone
fuck out of there.
or something was out there, playing with him and watching him. The most terrifying part was that when Zhenya stepped outside, no one could be seen. It hid in the pitch-black forest. Desperately thinking of a plan, he remembered his night vision camera. Perhaps it could help him spot whoever or whatever was stalking him. With the camera in hand, he began filming and scanning the trees, hoping to catch sight of something. But unfortunately for him, the night vision camera didn't have enough range, leaving the darkness impenetrable. Frustrated, he put the camera away. And that's when the horrifying event started again.
Начинается.
Hey, Mr. Tuppy, how are you?
Вот как, сука, как уже, знаете, к ноле так что-то начинается происходить. Ух ты, ёп. Вот прямо туда, там как овраг Сиана. Сейчас включу этот режим,
Zhenya scanned the area once more with his night vision. The scene felt like a real-life horror movie. The faint sound of a crying baby echoed from deeper in the woods, accompanied by another eerie, unsettling melody. It was clear that something was very wrong in these woods. But what was going on exactly? No one knows.
Спрятался за деревом вот так вот. Стихло. Все стихло. Всё. Не включать. Лучше реально не включать свет. Сейчас перебесится.
Oh, I'm sure, James. Absolutely. I'm just saying, fucking, in a situation like this, you know, how how would you truly react to a situation like this?
30. В тепловизоре батарейка села. Так, секунду, у меня же есть. У меня же камера от такой должна подходить. Я сейчас я посмотрю. Сейчас, тихо.
The noises seemed endless. Sometimes they could be heard from far away, and then suddenly closer. It was unlike anything Zhenya had ever experienced before, especially not while camping alone in the forest. Deep down, he knew something was terribly wrong, and that he needed to get out of there. Finally, he decided he couldn't take it any longer. He grabbed his belongings and fled the forest, running away from the unknown danger lurking in the darkness. As Zhenya finally
the music
his belongings into the trunk and drove away, haunted by the chilling events he had just experienced. This experience left not only Zhenya with many unanswered questions, but also his viewers. They were deeply impressed by how long he managed to stay in the forest despite all the unsettling sounds closing in on him. Just imagine camping alone in a pitch-black forest while hearing these kinds of sounds. It's like something straight out of a horror movie. Zhenya hinted that he will continue making camping videos, but never again in that forest. And who could blame him? Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you're enjoying it, please consider
But there you go. There you go. Just a scenario. I'm not saying it's real or not, but I mean to sort of give you that, that feel of what it would be like in many cases camping by yourself. Right?
Yep.
I mean, how would you react to something like that?
Oh fuck! I'd have been gone a long time ago.
But that's what I mean. That
even just the fact that there are wolves there. Why would you even chance it?
Well, I mean, most of the time, wolves and stuff like that are generally not a problem. They're only a problem if you're kind of like getting close to a den or whatever else. But I mean, generally, when you're in your tent at night sleeping or whatever else, they're curious. They'll hang around, they'll check out things, and usually just take off, right? But I mean, that's the thing. When you're inside that tent at night in the middle of fucking nowhere and shit like that, like for instance, you're in your tent sleeping and you're awoken at night to some fucked up sounds in the forest, perhaps where you are. That don't sound normal, like could be human, or you think could be human. Because obviously, I think the main factor here, the main fear is another human being there. And why are they there?
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You may know where you're camping for the night, but you may not know where you're camping for the night. You don't know what other people are doing or might do. And I'm sorry, serial killer, whatever, you don't know. There are people out there that fucking, and this is the horror of it all. This is the horror of it all. You don't know.
Yep. Exactly.
You're not in control of your environment. As much as you'd like to think you are, that fire, when it slowly goes out and shit begins to happen, you better hope you have a fucking bright flashlight.
Yeah, no kidding.
But even if you have a bright flashlight, a lot of good it's going to do when it doesn't see anything and you know there's something there. You know? I don't know. It's I think a lot of it for me, the reason why is it's the atmosphere and just trying to envision how you would react to a situation like that. You know, like I said earlier, the one vid where I was watching, you know, the woman and her two dogs were in the tent and they were camping, you know, she was camping alone with the two dogs, and she started hearing odd noises to the point where it came right up, whatever it was, came right up to the tent and started like moving the tent and literally terrifying her. And the dogs were fucking terrified. I mean, you know, like it's sure it was good that she had the two dogs, but I mean, if they're terrified too, then what, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That says a lot. Yeah, exactly. You'd have to pay me a lot. That's most people to go camp by themselves in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know? This is what I mean. I mean, it's easy enough for Alex or myself to go say, hey, we're going to go in the middle of the woods and camp and put something like that together. You know? Alex could be hiding out in the woods making fucking noises and blah, blah, blah. No, seriously.
Yeah.
You know? And it's so easy to pass it off as like, what the fuck is going on?
It all depends how good of an actor Steve is.
Yeah, well, I'm a good actor, I think. I like to think anyways. You're used to it. Yeah, sure, Michael. I mean, a lot of people are used to it. But like I said,
unfamiliar territory.
Unfamiliar territory. It doesn't matter. You may be used to it or not. You don't know what roams in that territory. Human, non-human, whatever. You know, and I think, Alex, do you think this might be a scenario do you think humans would be able to generate an unbelievable story? You know, such as, you know, you hear about these Bigfoot encounters or some sort of cryptic encounter. Do you think that being in places like this and terrified to the point where you're like, oh my God, could create a story that, you know, seemed believable?
Do I think people are capable of that? Yes, I do.
You know?
Yeah. I believe they are.
I mean,
look at the stuff that we've come up with.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the first thought. That's the first thought that comes to mind when I talk about my encounter with creature that I'd seen. You know, maybe I didn't see it right. You know, there's so many variables, but the thing is, it's unexplainable. I just don't know. I mean, was I in fear? I don't think I was in fear. I was inquisitive to the point where I'm like, I'm at a position where I don't think I need to be in fear. I'm not moving. I'm just being observant and just watching, you know, the movement of this creature. I'm sure if it, you know, started approaching me, then okay, I might get defensive.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that wasn't the issue. So I don't think my fear level, or if any, I don't think I was in a fear level at all, where I generated any of that story telling people when I tell the story. It's not, I don't think I made it up. I'm pretty sure what I had seen, and it just, didn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's typically what starts um the lore. I'm saying that in your case, but
Mhm.
when someone sees something they haven't seen before, they give it a description, they give it some kind of life to it, for lack of a
Mhm.
better term. And then when they relate that story, it just keeps getting progressively more complex,
Mhm.
right? And when it's oral tradition, stories handed down
Mhm.
orally as
Yep.
opposed to physical evidence. It's like that game of broken telephone. By the time it gets around back to you, the story is completely different. So it's, you think of it, generation after generation of stories being told of creatures in the woods like Bigfoot and whatever other creatures are out there. It morphs into what we know today.
Yeah, I mean, and back into a lot of, when back to, native lore.
Mhm.
I mean, Aboriginal lore is steep. There's many stories, and again, do you think what they believed and what they passed along story wise is exactly that? Like, for instance,
A story?
so I mean, you look at Winnebagos, Wendigos, and
Wendigos, yeah.
yeah, like, I mean, people who, and let's face it, I mean, Aboriginals for years saw, I'm sure, a shitload of weird shit, right? I mean, being nomadic and roaming, and moving quite a lot, and I'm sure they must have experienced a lot of weird scenarios at that time. With the lack of knowledge with a lot of things, would probably make them think, okay, no, this is not what, again, like, seeing maybe, falling star in the sky,
Yep.
or whatever, something strange that is uncomprehensive to them. Like, I mean, they simply can't explain other than create a story behind it.
Well, it's like Greek mythology, where thunder was thought to be the realm of Zeus, right? Lightning and thunder.
Mhm.
It was all attributed to Zeus, and then there was all other aspects of life were attributed to their own sort of deity within that sort of mythology. When we don't understand something,
Mhm.
we generally tend to associate it with something else, or come up with some
Absolutely.
kind of that work, like some kind of logical explanation in our own minds. Not
Yep.
necessarily that it's logical, but in our own
Mhm.
mind, it works.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's quite possible, and most of the stuff has been historically debunked, like lightning and thunder. We know are
Mhm.
not coming
Yeah.
from gods.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
there's still some stuff that are strange and weird out there that we have no explanation for.
Okay, so this leads me down to the fact that, the title, the surreal realms that aren't seen, but and I mean that there are theories and sort of proof to a certain extent that there is a multiverse,
Right.
and perhaps quite perhaps, not saying it does, but the theory is that there is times perhaps that they interact
Mhm.
with each other, and when they interact with each other, they produce what we would consider, maybe ghosts or crypto, like Bigfoot or aliens or whatever. I mean, do you think that's what's happening, or do you believe that, in fact, because I mean, when I think of intelligent civilizations, possibility of intelligent civilizations out there, that I do believe they're there, but what I think it is we can't comprehend their genetic makeup. What they look like, and because I mean, when we're thinking logically, we think logically is carbon based,
Mhm. Yeah.
physical, tangible,
And it could be
within.
something different. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's my school of thought with that. That
There's
these.
that, and the distance between their planet, our planet, could be,
But
almost
again,
insurmountable.
it might be, but to us it might be, and that's the thing. To them, it might be a hot skip and a jump, and bang, we're here, right?
Yeah. Have a good night, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, take care, and again, condolences once
Yep.
again, and be safe, my friend. Take care.
Take care.
It's I don't know, dude. I mean, I think
As far as our own understanding of how things work,
Mhm.
with Einstein's theories that, um, with regards to speed, you can't go faster than the speed of light. That may be true or may
Yeah.
not be. We don't really know. With our current understanding, it seems to be legitimate, but do we understand everything? That's the other thing. We may not understand everything. I'm almost of that mind that we don't understand everything, and because we don't understand everything, we don't understand the possibility of being able to travel faster than the speed of light, or if not that, other means of getting from point A to point B at a faster rate. Not necessarily, kind of like bending space time, so to
Yeah.
speak, like Event Horizon, the movie,
Mhm.
or through wormholes or what have you. So, is there a possibility to travel from one end of the universe to the other at a fast, almost instantaneously? Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's maybe me personally, as much as I am very skeptical of a lot of things, and you try to be rational in trying to explain things, but what I do know, or I shouldn't say I know, what I do think
Right.
is that it doesn't make sense for me that us, our being, its sole purpose is to birth and then die.
I agree.
It doesn't make sense that would, and all this is literally, when you look at the time span, is in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Even
it's
less than that. Yeah.
even less than that. It doesn't. It's not very long. It doesn't make sense to me that you create all these moments within that span,
Yeah.
and it all dies. It's all for nothing. It makes
I,
no sense.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. The problem
Yes.
with me has always been and always will be that I cannot say definitively that that is true
No,
until I
no.
see it physically. And
Ah,
this is where I'm always so up in arms, and not necessarily up in arms, but
mm,
I'm always so mixed up because
mm,
on the one hand, I believe what you're saying is true, and I want to wholeheartedly believe that what you're
mm,
saying is true.
yeah.
But on the other hand, my mind just sort of flips on me and says, "But
Well,
where's
and
the proof?"
well,
Right? That's my conundrum.
obviously.
Right.
I mean, you have to keep that sanity
Yeah.
about it. I mean, if you didn't have that sanity about it, then obviously you'd be running wild.
Yeah.
Alex
But
Alex
I
has
mean,
got
there's
some new
people.
fucking afterlife cult going on.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, you're rationalizing, and you have to rationalize.
Well, it's so there's things that you can choose to believe wholeheartedly, even
Mm,
despite evidence or despite there not being evidence. You just choose to believe wholeheartedly, and this is what most people do when it comes to their faith, their chosen faith,
mhm,
right? they choose to believe wholeheartedly that what they believe and what they're being told about that faith is true, even if there isn't any hard evidence, right?
And
I can't do that.
I look at faith and I go again, yeah, I can't do that either, because to me, the religions, the faith and all that are simply grounded here on earth.
Yeah,
When
there's that aspect too. Yeah.
right, are grounded here. And then if you look at the much larger picture, that, is there a universe? Is that all just a facade? Alex, is that a facade too? Is that real? And again,
Yeah.
I can't say it is, because I really I don't know, because I haven't been there.
That's right.
Sure, you look up into the sky and you see stars and you see the moon and everything else, but is that proof that it does exist? Is it a grand illusion that we've been indoctrinated with from birth?
Yeah.
That is real, but it's not. It's like, you look at, the grandest directing sort of masterpieces from Stanley Kubrick was the whole moonwalk. I mean, there's that belief that the whole moonwalk wasn't real. It was done in a Warner Brothers studio by Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, that's a conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a
Yep.
conspiracy theory, but I mean, who's to say, they're not right? Because we don't know. I mean, I've never stepped on the moon. I, I'd like to believe the moon is real. I'd like to believe that all, whatever, happened may have happened. But I mean, again, we don't know for sure. We don't, other than, what people, what we're being told, what history tells us, what,
So,
is that?
To answer that question,
Yeah.
there was a mirror that was placed on the moon for
Mhm.
specific studies.
Yeah.
That's real. That's a thing.
There was a mirror.
A mirror. Yes,
Yeah.
a special mirror called retro reflectors on the moon, placed
Yeah.
there by the Apollo missions and other missions. These are not typical mirrors, but precise array of corner cube reflectors that bounce light directly back to its source, which
Okay.
allows scientists to use lasers to measure the Earth-Moon distance within centimeter level accuracy.
Mhm.
So we have been on the moon. There's proof of that. The spacewalk itself, maybe, but we've been there. Those mirrors would not be there if we haven't gone there. Right? So that's the other thing.
Exactly, Neil. Wholeheartedly believe that. Agree with that. It is good to have an open mind and question.
Exactly.
You need to question everything. I mean, you really do. I mean, you can't accept what people are telling you as proof or the end all be all without looking, back checking, and everything else.
But that's the thing. You have to research it.
You have to.
You hear that term being used loosely by a lot of people who don't themselves do the research. They just spout what other people say and not actually look into it themselves before they propagate that same rhetoric.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So you need to be skeptical. Obviously, you can't just take anybody's word for whatever.
No.
But by the same token, look into it. And if what they're saying is true, there you go. If not,
Mhm.
then you've disproven them, right?
Exactly.
You can't just repeat people what they say just for the sake of repeating it.
Exactly.
Well, unless they sent a drone to plant it. Yeah, exactly.
You know, when you we were kind of talking about this before. Thinking about the universe.
Mhm.
and the size of it and trying to comprehend it, it's like you would drive yourself insane.
Of course. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You would drive yourself insane to the point where you're like, why am I doing this? I'm not getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, science can't even really tell you the size of the universe. They can give you a rough assessment of how big it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look at everything, I look at everything as it started as one particular moment. There was a particular moment, and everything expanded. Right? Everything comes from one particular moment. Everything. What that moment is, people say the Big Bang, but I don't know if I believe in that theory. I mean, I there's evidence of stuff before the Big Bang. So I mean, we haven't got a fucking clue yet, still, exactly how old the universe really is, how big it is, and will it ever end? Is there an end? Is there I mean, think about how fucking think about that journey, Alex. And
The end
how
of the
long
universe?
yeah, trying to find the outreaches of the universe, the actual end.
I don't think you would be able to.
No. That's like absolutely fucking impossible.
It is impossible. Well, with the means we have now, yes, definitely impossible.
But even if we did have the means,
well, we don't know whether the universe is infinite, right?
Well, that's what I mean.
It could be infinite. Might not be.
It could be infinite. Was it infinite, or did it become infinite? I mean, these are questions you can fucking just drive yourself insane by asking. Is the universe Hangman? Hey, Hangman, how's it going? It is. Yeah, it is. It is infinite. I mean, you're like, that's what I mean. You literally fucking drive yourself insane thinking about it. Who saved his life outside box, discovered the magic around us all. Around us, yeah.
Magic that
Einstein.
is physics.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff, even Einstein, have been questioned lately because we get new information, obviously. Einstein, I think, was a great guide, but I don't know. But anyways, dude, we're here. We're at the end.
We are.
Again, we our guest this evening, we had to reschedule because he is under the weather. Keith will be here. Keith Linder will be with us January 18th. Next week, next Sunday is our last show of this year before we go into our Xmas New Year's hiatus. Starting next Sunday at 5:00 p.m. All right, we have a special guest on. John will be with us. I'm looking forward to it. Retired cop.
Yeah,
a retired cop. Of all things, a retired cop who is a UFO author of a few books, and he's got one of the largest UFO archives in the UK, probably most likely in the UK. UFO author John Hansen will be with us. Looking forward to that. So again, that is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UK time. So it's earlier for you guys in the UK. I know a lot of you guys are in the UK. That'll help out. You don't have to be up so late. And once again, that's our last show. And then we're back January 11th with Todd Bates. More coming up. But until next Sunday, guys, take care. Thanks for joining us. Grab a t-shirt. Grab some merch. Come on, guys. It's Christmas. grab some merch. And anything that you buy obviously helps us with the day-to-day operations of our show.
There
you go. Merch store can be found in our links here on our YouTube channel. By all means, grab a t-shirt, grab a hoodie, grab an Alex coffee mug. Wait, is there an Alex coffee mug?
No, I could make one though.
Maybe we should have like maybe a t-shirt with us exploding on it.
Nice. Yep.
That is so cool. Anyways, guys, take care. You've been watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio here on our YouTube channel. Be well, and we'll see you next Sunday night. Adios.
Have a good night.